Have you acknowledged what you've done to her that's made her how she is with you?
Yeah, like I feel like I've apologised, I've said I'm sorry, like I literally, I don't know if there's not...
See, what you've done to her is a bit, it's, it's a bit of a bully.
I don't get how Polly, who is struggling in her marriage, has suddenly now become the voice of reason and has now suddenly become the one to call somebody else a bully when she can't confront her husband who's giving her problems. And I think the pressure of not getting her way with Charlie is the reason why she blew up on her husband and everybody else towards the end. And Alex and his wife, Holly, what is going on there? Those two, they are on such a seesaw ride. All these couples, they're on a merry-go-round that when you see a couple that seems to be doing slightly better, you're cheering them on. You're amazing, when they're actually not, just because all the matches are all over the place. But anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight UK, Season 9, Episode 10. Did I miss something? Because I thought we had Experts Week, and it was supposed to be 2 episodes before we got to the dinner party or commitment ceremony. And yet already we are at a dinner party. Make that make sense? I don't quite get it. I'm a bit confused. Anyway, you have all the couples. They are in their, well, apart from the 2 couples that are living apart at the moment, the drama never stops, does it? So you have Kieran and Christine and Sasha and Ross. They are the couples that are doing amazing, so they are in a very good place. The couples that are not doing so well, they are just trying to put a bandage on an open wound, more or less. So you have Rochelle and Orson. They seem to have found a way to make things work, so they're in their happy space. Casper still hasn't moved back in with his wife, but he comes to pick up his wife to go to the dinner party. If that's what works for them, hey, who are we to judge? Lacey is not feeling well, so Nathaniel is going to go and represent her. But then she asks him to sort of help Holly and sort of back her when Alex is out of order. And it's like, that's not a good thing. Alex and Holly are not in a good space because apparently as soon as he walked in, he walked out because they fell out already. And it's like, these two, they're not good for one another. They're not as bad as Eve and Charlie, but they're just not good for one another. Eve and Charlie, they're still living apart. And just like clockwork, Eve comes to make amends, or Eve comes so that they can repair their relationship before the dinner party. But then you have Polly saying that, well, Eve was confiding in us and telling us all the horrible things that Charlie did to her. So if they come in playing happy families, I'm going to call her out. And it's like, so she is telling you that. Did you sit down with the other party to hear what's happening? Or did you just back the person that you met first as you felt that they were the one that was in the right? Make that make sense? I don't get that. I don't know why she has more vim for Charlie than she has for her own husband, who is refusing to have sex with her. But hey, it is what it is. So all the couples get ready for the dinner party, and I can't wait to see what mess is about to ensue. So the couples arrive for the dinner party. First to arrive are Casper and Emma. Surprise, surprise. I'm actually surprised they were the first ones to arrive. They're followed by Rochelle and Orson. They're in a very good space as well. And it's nice to see that the couples are in a very good space. Obviously, Emma and Casper are keen to see who got the expert visits because they want to know. Next up is Kieran and Kristen. They're very happy. They're ecstatic. They say they couldn't be happier. Although Kieran confides in the guys that, because Christina is very emotional, he tends to sort of hold back and not sort of divulge things that might be troubling him. And it's like, that's not a good luck. Maybe open up to her because she thinks you guys are doing amazing. And actually, there might be problems that need to be addressed. Next up is Adam and Polly. They are in a good space. They seem happy. Apparently, she's getting fanny flutters because he's now holding her hand and giving her positive affirmations. If that's what works for them, hooray! To say I'm fuming is an understatement. It really is an understatement. Anyway, you have Holly walking on her own because they're living separately with Alex, and people just assume, okay, it is what it is. And you have Polly busy telling people that she doesn't expect Eve and Charlie to walk in together. And if they walk in together, she's going to say something. And it's like, madam, you've got bigger problems than somebody else's marriage. Focus on your own marriage. Anyway, we have Charlie and Eve walking together, holding hands, and this sends Polly on one. And it's like she's projecting. She's got issues in her marriage, and instead of resolving those, she's now projecting and concentrating on somebody else's marriage. And it's like, please, focus on your own and leave this couple alone. They have nothing to do with the failures in your marriage. They are trying to make their marriage work. Please focus on your lack of attraction with your husband. Any empathy that I had for Polly has gone out the window because of the fact that even Paul said it, because you had Charlie sit with the guys and you had Eve sit with the girls, and the girls are eating up every single thing that Eve is telling them. They're not even asking to hear the other side of the story. They have, especially Polly, she's got it in her head that Charlie is a bully and this is what she's running by. She hasn't bothered to listen. There's two sides of a story every time. There's your story, there's your side, my side, and then there's the truth. So everyone will always say what they think will make them come out looking like the good guy. So the idea that she would buy this and run with it doesn't make sense because they're all hyping up Charlie and listening and eating up everything. Charlie is saying that how she was bullied, how she felt she's not safe, she's not comfortable. She hasn't told the girls that I walked out on day one or day two of the honeymoon and went away and didn't communicate with my partner until I was ready. And every time I was confronted about that, I would storm out and say, "You're shouting at me." No, she hasn't. But they are buying everything she's selling them and they're taking it as word, as gospel truth. Whereas the guys were more supportive and giving ideas to Charlie on how to deal with her marriage. These girls were just gobbling up everything Eve was telling them. And I agree with Paul that there's two different sides to friendship. There's supportive friendship, then there's the good supportive in the sense that they give you ideas to help grow, manage, and sort of develop or improve on any areas that might be at fault. And then there's the bad side that will eat up anything you're telling you, and they want you to self-destruct, or they are not willing to look at anything from anybody else's side. They, in their mind, you're correct, and that's it, and that's what they run by. Anyway, you have Holly confront Charlie and say, "Oh, you're a bully," and it's like, madam, your husband is not touching you. He's not sleeping with you. He says he's not attracted to you after having sex with you one day. Focus on that. Focus on that. Work on your marriage. Leave this couple alone. They have nothing to do with the failures in your marriage. For you to have so much vim for Charlie and tell Charlie that she's a bully doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And I'm really sad and very disheartened that this is the way Polly is. She is very hypercritical of somebody else and is not hypercritical of her husband, and make it make sense. Anyway, once Charlie's confronted, she walks out, and you can tell Eve feels guilty because she runs after her, and it's like, if you're complaining that she's the worst person ever, why are you running to console her? Why not leave her alone? You said she's making you feel uncomfortable and safe. Why are you running to console her? You told everyone that you hate your marriage, you're not comfortable there, you can't live with your partner, but you still wrote stay. And then you went to make amends so that you would walk in as the united front in front of everybody. So you're putting up appearances for the camera. That's all it is. I give credit to Charlie for walking out and saying, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing anymore." I hope she leaves completely. I hope she doesn't come back to the show. I hope she comes back. She comes back to right leave and explains herself and everything that happened in the marriage. And she's done. She doesn't need this because she's already been called a bully on camera, and that label is very difficult to wash off once it's been labeled. Anyway, next up you have Nate. He walks in on his own, obviously because his wife is sick. So you have Nate reassure everybody and let them know why his wife didn't come in with him, because everybody's anxious that why is she not here, and he lets them know that she's not feeling well, that's why she couldn't attend, and everybody's happy because at least they know that there's no problems with that marriage. Next up is Alex walks in on his own, and I like the fact that unlike the girls, they didn't side with Holly and say don't go. No, the boys actually encouraged her that don't be one of the last people to greet him, especially Kieran. He said go up there, greet him, just smile and see what happens and take it from there. Even Austin was sitting next to Holly. They were just sort of trying to sort of help her sort of work through the problems she's having in her marriage, which I thought was really sweet. And the moment she walked up to Alex, he smiled, just disarmed her, and it's like, this marriage, seriously, this is a hookup. This is a hookup. This is all it is, unless they're willing to do the work, because they need communication. Yes, they'll make an amazing couple, but once they've left the experiment, they would need to go straight into couples counseling and sort of learn how to communicate between the two of them before anything else can happen. They seem to have forgiven each other. I like that, unlike Alex, Holly apologized. She apologized for upsetting him or for saying something that he took as offensive. So that was good, and that got on his good space. And I like that they didn't dissect their issues. They decided, as they agreed when they set boundaries, that whatever problems they have, they need to speak about it in private, which is good. You then have everyone go to the dinner table, and the producers are messy because they had Polly sitting opposite, Charlie, knowing that they're not in a good space because Charlie has finally rejoined the group. But before Charlie rejoined the group, you had Eve sit down with Polly and sort of say, "Oh, I appreciate you for, speaking to her." And it's like, why are you doing that to your partner? You are pretending as though you're backing your partner, and then when you come to the girls, you're pretending like you back the girls. Which is it? Make it make sense. Are you telling the girls the truth, or are you telling them what you feel they need to hear? And then when you go to your partner, you pretend like, "Oh, I don't know where they got it from. I didn't say that." Which is it? Make it make sense. I don't get it, and I really have a bad taste in my mouth for Eve because of the way she's maneuvered. Anyway, everybody goes to the dinner table, and suddenly you have Charlie there. I think the producers talked her into coming back, and she came back. But then they had to sit opposite Polly, and it's like, this is messy. Why couldn't you sit them at opposite ends of the table if you knew that there was tension? And you have Polly sort of staring her down, and it's like, Polly, you have issues with your husband, who you're complaining that didn't pull the chair out for you. He didn't toast with you when you were cheering. Why not focus on that instead of focusing on other people? Anyway, she starts to sort of stare down. I think she was hoping to get a reaction or to have a comment from Charlie. Charlie didn't. Charlie was busy speaking to Casper, and she's telling Casper, which was right, to say, "You've heard something from someone you know, and instead of asking me for my side of the story, you've taken that as gospel truth and you've run with it, and you've called me a name which is very derogatory, which can tarnish my image, without actually finding out the truth." Make that make sense? And you can see that Polly is hearing all this. She is hearing this, and that's when they sort of went off for a chat. And she, "Oh, I want to apologize for calling you a bully. But anyway, do you want to discuss your marriage?" And it's like, how do I discuss my marriage with you after you've just called me a bully and you've name called and you've taken sides without hearing the whole story? How do I trust you? So I give credit to Charlie for refusing to say anything and deciding to keep, whatever is going on between her and Eve, between her and Eve. Kudos to her. Anyway, they go back to the table. Everybody can see the tension. They can see that things are not right, so they just decide to keep quiet. And then the box comes out. So out comes the honesty box, and it's about to get messy. It's about to get messy because the experts are going to ask the questions that are going to give you the response that maybe you don't need. Anyway, first up is Casper and Emma, and their question is, what is the biggest obstacle in our marriage? And Emma is right to say it's sex and intimacy, because if we can get that, then we'll be fine, because it seems their communication is amazing, so they're good communicators. It's just that I wish you could take them and you could take Holly and Alex and sort of mix them up in a little gumbo and then sort of divide them, because one couple is good at communication. It might not be what you want to hear, but at least they communicate. And the other couple has got amazing chemistry. So if they could share whatever they have with the other couple, then that would be amazing. Next up is Ross and Sasha, and it's like, what have you learned about yourself in this marriage? And Sasha reveals that she's found out that when she's comfortable, she can communicate and she can be intimate with someone without them sort of forcing her. It's just whether or not she's comfortable, and she feels very comfortable with Ross, and this is why she's not afraid to be intimate with him, which, oh my god, I really love for them. I thought that was sweet. And then we have Charlie and Eve. Eve asks Charlie, what can I do to improve what can I do to improve our marriage? And he says, I want you to allow me to prove myself, because yes, I know on the honeymoon I wasn't the best of people, but at least I want you to give me an opportunity to prove to you that I am a very good person. I am very apologetic for what happened during the honeymoon, and see if we can find a way forward. I hate how Charlie's the one who's constantly taking responsibility for her actions, but Eve is not. I don't get that. Anyway, Eve is then asked, how likely do you think we can get back to how we were on wedding day? And it's like, Eve will need to do the work. She'll need to apologize, first of all. She'll need to move into the apartment. She'll need to take responsibility for her actions, her constant storming out and her constant feeling of being attacked, even when she's not. Because I don't think every single time she's being attacked, I think she feels attacked, but that doesn't mean she is being attacked. That's just my opinion. Oh, Alex gets brownie points because, their question is, well, he asks Holly, what do you most admire about me? And she says, you make me feel beautiful every day. You make me feel like I'm walking on water in the sense that you made me feel most beautiful on the honeymoon. You made me feel positive about my body because this is something that I've craved for. And it's like, despite all his faults, he is doing for his wife what the other guys are not doing, what Casper and Adam are not doing. He is managing to do that for his wife. And I think this is one of the reasons why Holly likes him and she'll continue to forgive him because he gives her reassurance, he gives her positive affirmations in regards, oh, you look amazing. And the fact that he said, yes, you do look beautiful. And she went, even when I wake up first thing in the morning, you make me feel beautiful. And it's like, oh my God, brownie points for you. Brownie points. Kudos to you, Alex. Even the experts were actually, you could see Paul was taken aback because this is something that he didn't expect. So despite their problems with communication, there's still this amazing side of Alex that Holly gets to see that everybody else that doesn't get to see. Oh, I love that. So next up is Kieran and Christina, and their first question is, what can I do to sort of improve our marriage? And Kieran is like, I love you the way you are. I couldn't imagine you being any different, because you are who you are, and that's okay with me, and I'm okay with that, and I love that about you. And she was ecstatic. She was ecstatic. I think they're cute. I hope they're being honest with one another, but I think they come across as very cute. They come across as people that have been in very toxic relationships before, and so now that they found their yin to their yang, they are at peace and they are willing to accommodate the faults and overlook the faults or things that might otherwise give them the ick. If it were anybody else, I think because they find peace with one another, this is why they're willing to do that. And then you have Christina ask, Kieran, do you see yourself as likely to fall in love? And he said, yes, he can. And I think because she gives him comfort, she gives him support, she's reassuring, she's compassionate, she's empathetic. And so this is why he finds it easy to be around her, given what he's or how he's described his previous partners. So I get them, being at peace and sort of falling in love and probably staying married even after the experiment. I can see that. So lastly, it's Adam and Polly, and Kama is, because the question is for Polly to ask Adam, what do you think you should do to stop us sort of staying in the friend zone? And he sort of says, oh, if we're stuck in the friend zone, it's because maybe, I haven't had those feelings. I don't want to give you the impression that things are moving. And she has to call him out because this is the same response he's been giving all along. This is the same response he's been giving all along. And I feel like Adam is just on the show just to stay on the show because he wants the clout that comes with being on the show. I think he's not attracted to his wife. He was, or maybe the sex wasn't that great, so that put him off completely. Something happened because if he could have sex with her on the first night, what has changed? What has turned him off completely? He said he wasn't attracted to her, went on their wedding night, had sex, and then suddenly he wants to keep things civil. That way he doesn't lead her on. And I give her credit for calling him out, but the disrespect she showed to everybody else by shouting at everybody else didn't make sense. She could have asked him to just take a moment and sat away from everybody else, had a conversation, explained everything, and then come back to the group and answer the question, because now he's got an excuse, something to sort of hang his hat on and say, oh, this is the reason why I don't like her. She's disrespectful, this, that, and the other. It's a pity. That marriage is over. They need to write leave. There's no point in them staying. That marriage ended the day after they had sex on their wedding night. And so it's pointless for them to continue to run around in circles and pretend as though there's something there when there's nothing. I know everybody wants to be on TV, but at times your mental health trumps everything else. And I wish she could just take herself out of the equation and go home and sort of lick her wounds and then hopefully get out there and hopefully find her person. But Adam is not it. That's just my point. And it was interesting, given how she spoke to Charlie about speaking to your partner, how disrespectful she was to Charlie and called Charlie a bully. That's the same thing she was doing towards the end of it. That's the same thing she was doing. And I'm surprised nobody called her out and said, why are you bullying your husband? Because that would have been a great opportunity for Charlie to throw those words back. But then she was the bigger person. I don't know whether I would have been that. But anyway, Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 9. Bye guys.